Hey everyone, it's Joy here. Welcome back to my channel. Today's project is the small die of the month for Spellbinders for July 2022. So here is this super cute die. You have a beach towel. You have two parts to that, so you can have a striped beach towel. You have the girl with the swimsuit. You have pieces to a hat, flip-flops. You have a cute little bag and some tassels, and those little ovals at the top are part of the hat, but I actually ended up not using those. So I have die cut from white cardstock the little body, and I also die cut that from a beautiful brown cardstock, Nubuck Brown from Cardstock Warehouse. But my girl here needed a little bit of a tan, so I started with some antique linen, and then I actually ended up using a little bit of LATTE ink from Simon Says Stamp, just to give her a little bit of a tan because I just only had white cardstock. I didn't have just like a good skin color, so I ink blended her. For the other one, I did not need to ink blend. I just used, again, the Nubuck Brown. And this card is dedicated to my sweet, sweet friends, Mirisha, Robin, Nikia, and True. These girls are so, so sweet to me. Not that all of you guys are sweet to me too, but these girls, I just thought I'm just going to put this card together as just a thank you to them for just always being so kind and so sweet to me. So they were on my mind when I was making this card. Now I die cut the bathing suits and like the hat and the flip-flops from patterned paper, and it was actually from Spellbinders. It was the Beach Day patterned paper from one of their kits. I couldn't even tell you which kit it was. It's just been in my stash forever. So obviously any patterned paper will work, and I just have them, their swimsuits are different from each other, but their swimsuits match their hat, and then I brought in some other colors to match the flip-flops, and it really turned out cute. And I'm going to be really honest, this card is probably in my top 10 favorites of cards that I've ever made. It turned out so pretty and so soft, and the sentiment was perfect for it, which I used from Honeybee Stamps, and I'll share that here in just a little bit. So definitely hang on through the video. I know it's just a tad bit longer than I usually do, but you'll definitely want to see it at the end because it is so darn cute. So I'm putting together the hats. There's two pieces for the hat, so I used gold mirror cardstock, and then on the top, the little top piece, you have two pieces, one's larger than the other, and you're going to put a little bit of that ribbon, which I used gold mirror cardstock here, and added that to the bottom, and then added the other piece on. So you can give this a good amount of dimension, which is what I'm doing with some foam tape, and then I can just pop that in the center. Then we've got their cute little flip-flops, and of course I brought in some gold mirror cardstock for that because I just love gold mirror cardstock, and I felt like it really kind of made this card a little classier is the word. I don't know. Maybe that's the wrong word, but it just really upped it a level with the gold mirror cardstock. So I'm going to do both of their flip-flops with the patterned paper, and then we have a cute little bag that I also did from patterned paper that matches the stripes on the towel, but then I'm using the gold mirror cardstock for the stripes on the bag and the handle, which is really super cute. And you can see how quickly this is coming together. I mean, you know, when you're using die cuts, there's a lot of die cut pieces, especially from Spellbinders, but then you get to make these really awesome cute cards, and everything goes together super quick and super easy. Okay, so here's the towel. There's two pieces. You have the bigger piece, then you have the piece that cuts out the stripes, and then there's also the little tassel pieces, which I almost forgot to do, but I did bring that in, and I die cut the tassels from the same little patterned paper that I'm using here for the stripes. And again, I'm just using some liquid glue and just I think this is my Crystal Katana tool to just pick those pieces up and put them in place. And now we have a really cute, cute towel. Here are those little fringe pieces on the ends, which really make all the difference. Or it could be like a beach blanket. It doesn't have to necessarily even just be a towel, but super fun and super cute. Okay, now let's do some ink blending for the background. I'm just using my stencil as a guide of where I want my sand to be. So I'm using LATTE ink from Simon Says Stamp for my sand. I didn't feel like having to mask off using something else, so I was kind of being lazy by just holding that in place and blending right up to it. I was making sure I had room for my towel and for the sentiment that's going to be at the bottom, so I had to move my line up just a little bit further. So now my towel fits and my sentiment. Now we want to do a little bit of ink blending for the ocean, and I am using SEAFOAM ink from Simon Says Stamp. They're positively saturated inks. So again, I'm just using that stencil as a line. This is the My Favorite Things Ray of Light stencil, which I actually will end up using at the top, but I just thought I would use it to make what I needed to make. I did spray some pixie spray behind it, but it didn't really stick like I wanted it to. So I don't know, maybe I need some new pixie spray. But anyways, I'm using Lemonade and Guava inks to give me a nice sunset sky. So when we mix those two, the yellow and the pink, obviously we're going to get an orange in the center, which is perfect. So I did not need to bring in a third color. And I'm just going to ink blend that. And then once I remove this stencil, I'll do a little bit more of the ink blending so it doesn't have the harsh white lines in between the rays of light from the stencil. But as you can see, this is starting to come together, and I know it looks a little bit blotchy, but the ink will soak into the cardstock and it'll all smooth out and look absolutely beautiful by the time this is all done. So now I'm just bringing in a piece of cardstock, or a piece of paper, excuse me, to do my little bit of blending again with the Lemonade and the Guava ink. And I can make sure that those blend in the center to give us a nice, pretty little orange. Now this is where I was going to stop on this card, and then I decided to bring in a palm tree and some birds. So I'm using Newton's Nook Retro Sun and Palm Stencil set, and this is a great, fantastic set. There's another piece to this that has like a circle that will have like the sun and all that kind of stuff, and so I'm just using obviously the birds and the palm tree, and I'm using Woodsy for the palm tree and Cozy for the birds, again Simon Says Stamp inks. Making sure I clean that really good before I move that and put the birds on here. I don't want any of that ink getting on my ink blended background because I don't want to have to start over. So let's just ink blend those guys on there. I'm going to do a couple, another little section of birds, even though I do trim this down slightly smaller than an A2 size card base. Now I do have everything lined up in my MISTI, and I am using the Seize the Days from Honeybee Stamps. Their new release has a ton of ocean beach stuff in it, which I'm so in heaven. And the sentiment says, leave footprints of love and kindness wherever you go. And I just thought that that was perfect when you have these two little friends sitting on the beach watching the ocean. So I stamped that with clear ink. I prepped it with an anti-static powder tool, used white embossing powder, and then I'm just going to heat that with my heat tool until it's nice and melted. And then we've got this great sentiment. Now let's put this card together. I'm adhering this to a white A2 size card base, and because I trimmed it smaller, we do have a white frame around it, which really looks nice. And I'm going to pop most of these things up with some foam tape. So I'm going to center my towel right over that sentiment, and then we can put these cute little girls with foam tape. And I'm going to add some foam tape at the top and then a little bit of liquid glue at the bottom because that towel already has foam tape. So I'm going to put those in place. And then for the hat, I'm going to double up my foam tape because I do want the hat to be taller or closer to you than their bodies, if that makes sense. And so I'm just going to fold over my foam tape and put that in place. I do want to say, I think this is a fantastic die. Like I said, this is the small die of the month for July, and I just think, what a great die. You can make so many cards. They could be these little cute, girls could be watching anything, which is really, really cute. So I added the ribbon there. Then I'm going to tuck some flip-flops into this bag and add some foam tape behind that, but I put a little bit too big of a piece because it's going to overlap that towel just a little bit. So I trimmed that down, and I can put that in place. And then the other side is going to have the other little set of flip-flops. What I like about this whole scene is that with the birds, I think it looks like there's motion. And then when you have their ribbons kind of flowing like that, it's like they're getting that breeze off the ocean. So I don't know, this card kind of feels like it has movement to me. I am going to finish with some dewdrops from, this is the Crystal Mix Dewdrops from Honeybee Stamps, and this card is completely finished. I hope that you love this card. I so love this card. It just makes me think of all my new sweet friends, and I'm just so glad that I am friends with you guys. So thank you guys so very much for stopping by and watching, and I'll be back soon with another video. Bye.